All right, here we go. Bottom 9. And got a mountain to climb. It's as good as a chance to get up this mountain as there is me and you, Nick, getting up Everest without any, well, let's just say to getting up Everest, period. I don't think we need to handicap it. Chat. It's really nice to see you. I also want to openly admit that I didn't have the courage to turn on the game here for the last half inning. I didn't have the courage to turn on the game here for the last half.
I think we're live.
Yeah, well, you figured it, yeah. But anyways, if just let me know when there's 2 outs.
Yeah. I'll let you know. All right. Got to get Luke Maley on the old box score here for his valiant effort.
What did he do?
Just threw a scoreless inning.
Oh, I must have missed it. I missed it. Is that?
He would have had a perfect inning if did he give up a hit? Marte, I thought Marte had an error. They called it a single. I thought they were calling it an error. Unbelievable.
They give everything hits.
I think they said on the broadcast that Maley's thrown like 6 2/3. I gotta look this up here. He came in the day throwing 7 1/3 career innings pitched, and he never walked anyone. Like, isn't that kind of impressive?
Hey, throws the ball over the plate.
Like, I would think that would almost be the hardest part, is just throwing it over the plate, if you're not a pitcher.
Well, I mean, the hardest part is getting guys out, really, if you're not a pitcher. But yeah, I mean, I never had a problem throwing it over the plate. I always had a problem of people hitting the ball, really hard and far. That was the problem.
Yeah, I mean, but 7 1/3, not a single one. I thought that's pretty. I doubt there's many position players that have that kind of stat line.
Yeah. I remember having to come in one single time to just pitch because it was out of hand, and I mean, absolutely got shelled. I think looking back on it, I should have just thrown it as easy as I could have instead of trying to actually throw hard, because my throwing hard was obviously perfect hitting speed.
Maley had one pitch that was 47.9 miles per hour.
That's good. I think that's the way to do it. I think that's the way.
That was a ball, though. His two slowest pitches were balls. I think he was trying to be cute.
That could be true. Throwing it slow would be hard to throw strikes.
They say it was a slider, but I think he was trying to throw like some sort of curveball or something. It just didn't curve.
It curved. It was just a gravity pulling it to the ground.
Yeah.
What? How many outs do we have? I mean,
no one out. Will Benson's having his at bat of the year right now. Trey.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's good to know this game will be over soon. Will Benson will be up.
He's grinding, man.
Marte will be up soon.
Valley camera angles get you again. I thought Will Benson hit it into the ocean. Lazy fly ball.
We got one out.
One trade.
All right. How many guys we got on?
No one's on. That was just.
You mean to tell me that we don't have anybody on and it's taken that long to get an out? Will Benson have 12 pitch at bat or something?
What's that?
I mean, it just seems pretty long that we only have one out and that there's nobody on.
It was a great at bat. It was like 7 pitches. Will Benson's grinding.
Yeah. I hope Candelario hit another home run. Why not? Just add the stats.
Candy struck out.
What a shame. You have to go back to the left side.
Yeah. No, now Luke's getting a chance to hit. Good take, Luke. Good take.
You're something special, man. You're a special breed.
Hustle, 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 hustle.
I hope these guys go back to their locker and they have nothing but a bunch of
challenge it, Bell. Challenge it.
Nothing but a bunch of dog shit smeared all over their lockers, and Nick's out here telling them how good of at bats they have.
Oh my God, is David Bell actually going to challenge it? No, I don't think he is. I think it's over, Trace. It's over.
Game's over?
Game is over.
Oh, well, I'm glad. I'm glad we can start a show. Folks, this is going to be a real good one. It's going to be a real good one. You're going to want to stick around for this. And trust me when I tell you, you won't have to wait long because that long intro, boy, it's seen better days. All right, welcome into a Saturday night edition of Chatterbox Reds. It is August 17th, 2024, and if you think for a single second that I, myself, Trace Fowler, I don't know about Nick, but myself, is going to put forth a hour-long plus show of what I just witnessed, you're wrong. I will not be here that long tonight. I have a couple things to say, and other than that, I want all of you to know that this world has what we'd call oxygen. It has sun, it has a moon, and it has air. And you can go outside and you can do other things besides stare at your screen and watch Bally Sports Ohio and watch what we watched tonight, which was basically nothing more than a lame excuse of a baseball team trying to perform a professional baseball act. We have the box score recap coming in just a second, and if you live in Kansas City, you might want to tune in because it's going to be basically nothing but a marathon of highlights. Meanwhile, for the Reds, I'm not sure what happened outside of the fact that we're all excited that Luke Maile threw a scoreless inning. I mean, what a miracle that is. But nonetheless, Nick, here we are. It's not a great night, and I'm not going to ask you how your night is. Quite honestly, I know that you probably silenced your mentions, as you should, closed the chat, as you should, but I just want to let you know personally that I still am your friend, I still like you, and we can still be friends after tonight, no problem. Don't even need to ask, Nick.
I like you too, Trace.
All right.
Let's go. Let's do a show.
Let's do a show. You're going to do the box score recap, and I'm going to do my best to do some super chats, and I am going to try very hard tonight.
We have super chats tonight.
We have super chats tonight because they know at the end of the day that we are damn near, if we have a heart of hearts, we're damn near real problems as a Reds fan. Tonight's a night where we really need to highlight a sponsor, and I'm not talking about Game Time or DSC, if you know what I mean. But we do have a box score recap. We'll do that, and we'll do supers right after that. So let's take it away. Presented by Nick Kirby.
All right, Reds taking on the Kansas City Royals, game 2 of 3 at Great America Ballpark. Nick Lodolo had a rough night. Lodolo gave up 8 runs and only lasted 2 2/3 innings. 3 of those runs were charged to Lodolo came with Buck Farmer on the mound. Buck came in and gave up a grand slam to the first batter he faced, Darian Blanco, the Royals' number 9 hitter, and Blanco had quite the night. He drove in 7 runs, which tied for the second most out of the number 9 spot in a game in MLB history. Blanco entered Saturday with 1 home run in 68 games this season. He now has 3. It was an ugly game all around. Elly De La Cruz had 2 errors in the top of the 5th. The Reds' lone run came on a solo homer from Jeimer Candelario, his 20th of the season. The highlight of the game was probably Luke Maile throwing up a 0 in the top of the 9th, but the Reds fall 13-1. Reds have lost 2 in a row. Reds now 60-63 on the season.
All right, and we did have a deep drive of the day thanks to Jeimer Candelario. When I say you couldn't hit a more meaningless home run, boy, oh boy, do I mean it. And he found a way. But shout out to him. He hit his 20th home run of the season, and when we look back at the end of the year, we're going to think how big of a home run it really was. 99.7 off the bat, 360 feet. And the win probability, Nick didn't even put it on there, probably because it made the win probability go from 0.00% to 0.00%. And as we all know, the Reds had a 0.00% chance of winning. Turns out I was right. Who knew? The deep drive of the day is sponsored by DSC, and they are a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information, and thank you to John and his team at DSC. Now, I did say we had some super chats, Nick. Justin Edgel says, the parties at my place, strippers and chronic. I don't know what he means by that. I don't know if he's talking about, like when you peel apples, you could strip apples. It is a kid's show. I want the kids to know that's what he's talking about. Clement's family. Clement, sorry if the whole family's watching here tonight. I should have maybe filtered out the supers here tonight. But nonetheless, he said, this is why an argument can be made to take the best available pitcher with the first pick every year. Maybe. No, I wouldn't. I mean, maybe, yeah. I'm not going to get mad at the Reds for taking the best player available if they think the best player is a pitcher, and it happens to be a pitcher every year. It's just that that's not what really anyone else said, and I don't want to make this this isn't a big deal, but that's the only caveat. Like, that's the only thing that I was trying to express, is that they didn't take the best player available according to a lot of people. And that's fine if it works out. If it doesn't work out and the best players available end up being superstars and or just good big league players, you're going to have an issue. But anything to add to Clement's super there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to be best player available. You start chasing things for... Right now, you're going to typically, I think, put yourself in bad spots. It's hard to predict what a team's going to look like by the time these players actually come to the big leagues most of the time. So I think, drafting for need or what fits at a particular time or whatnot is you just got to take the best players.
Yeah. They usually don't do that in the NFL. They take best player available in the NFL, and the NFL, I would argue, is much, much, much quicker of a pipeline to make an impact for a team. So that already shows you how important taking best player available is. Gadzuk says, your boy Spalding made a tweet tonight that summed up my feelings perfectly. There are people in their late 20s, early 30s. He's not talking about us, is he, Nick?
Maybe.
Who have lived and started a new generation with no success from the Reds. Sad. Yeah. Trust me. I mean, it is a damn shame that the only apparel one can find at my age group is talking about a team that happened in 1975 and 1976. Don't get me started, okay? We still talk about we're the first professional baseball franchise, and we had a great team in 1975 and 76, and we went wire to wire in 1990. I've heard it all. I've read the books, okay? I've read the books, and you know what? I'm glad that they were good then. At some point, hopefully, we could have maybe the Little Red Machine. You know, they don't have to be the best team in baseball. Maybe they're just, hell, not even the best team of all time, but not even the best team in baseball, but maybe just a team that can win a playoff series. Let's hope. Justin chimes in again and says, don't call 988. Just visit Sunnyside Dispensary, no free hats. I can't promote that. And I would say call 988 if you need it, definitely.
Well,
call.
Let's be clear. Depending on what their offer might be to get themselves as the sponsor of Reds MILB, we could discuss.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if we want to do a segment, where Kirby has to take an edible on nights that the Reds actually lose games, we might have a really entertaining show from time to time. That would be something that maybe we could get that in there. We should find out. Game Day 513 says tie France 2025 with the France flag. I don't know. Maybe. Let's get into this show. Reds embarrassed. That's the first thing on the rundown. I have legitimately like 5 things to say tonight. This isn't one of them. I'll let you take the reins on Reds embarrassed. I don't give a damn. I'm glad that, you know what, it got out of hand and I didn't have to get frustrated, Nick, that they blew the game because tonight they just got their tails kicked. Absolutely. That's the nicest way I can say it.
Yeah, I would rather have this than a 1-run loss. Like, it doesn't. Yeah. I mean, I know like a lot of people see the score and they.
Are you sure though? Because I do want to tell you this kind of cuts in. This kind of cuts into your run differential. I don't know.
No. This is great. Because now when you come back at me in 2 weeks, I was like, they lost the game 13-1, but they're still plus 35. So I needed this. I needed one of these. I don't need 3 of these, but I needed one of them. So no, this is a good thing for that, but. I don't know. I feel like the one thing though, like the kind of, and I've kind of been the guy that's been higher on the offense than everyone else, but I feel like the offense kind of has gotten like this great pass for 2 days. They scored 2 runs in 2 games against the Royals, and everyone's going to talk about is Nick Lodolo tonight, Fernando Cruz last night, but they scored 2 runs. Like, you know, that they're going to get a complete almost pass just because of the 2 really bad pitching performances.
I agree. Yeah, you're right. I mean, they are the problem child at the end of the day, and they're the ones that are getting looked over for the most part. And today it's going to be Nick Lodolo. So speaking of Nick Lodolo, it was a terrible outing. I don't know really how else to say it. The command wasn't there. He gets himself in a tough jam. And the thing that maybe pissed me off the most, because I don't have a whole lot to add outside that he was piss poor, besides maybe saying he was piss poor a couple more times, is really when David Bell decided to go take him out. I actually was of the mindset that Bell might pull him even a little bit earlier to try to see if he couldn't just salvage something, because it appeared to me that he was toast. And then obviously Farmer ends up giving the grand slam. But my point is that he acted like he didn't want to come out of the game, or like he was upset maybe that he was going to get pulled out of the game. It's like, what world is he living in? I mean, honest to God, I mean, he should have been hula hoopa dancing out there. He should have been doing cartwheels. He should have been doing the Dougie. Whatever term you want to come up with, he should have been thankful that he was coming out to get saved. Now, I also know that those runs ended up costing him all of his statistics, and he didn't give up the grand slam. But admittedly, I mean, you just walked in a run. You're all over the place. I didn't understand that. I was really baffled by his demeanor when David Bell came out to get him.
Yeah, it sucks watching Lodolo go through this right now because, man, he was so good earlier in the year, but just hasn't been good the last 4, 5, 6 times out. I mean, the most important thing is we think he's healthy right now.
Right.
I mean, that's what we need him to finish a healthy season. You know, I've said it before. I think he's going to have to go through some of these hard times because he hasn't gone through a full season. This is it. And this happens to most pitchers. They have just some bad stretches, and it seems like it probably started when the blister thing came. And I don't know if that threw off his rhythm. I feel like I read something about how he had to change his grip of the baseball slightly. And you know, I mean, with pitchers, if you have to do, you know, some slight adjustment to your routine, it can throw you off quite a bit. So he's working through it right now. I don't know. It sucks to watch him like this, but the most important thing is he finishes this year healthy. He finishes this year strong. He increases and builds up his workload for next year.
Yeah, he's just one more guy that you add to the rotation that you try to figure out what you do with next season, and you hope he's going to be the guy that you thought he was, and really of late he's not been that person. So you start to have doubts and question marks, and I guess if there's any good news is that hopefully the Reds do have a lot of depth when it comes to starting pitching. So this isn't going to – I say this, and I'm so sick and tired of doing the next year thing, but like I really hope this doesn't happen next year where you are just basically – having to pencil guys in to start, even if they're not throwing the ball that well, because you're kind of out of guys now, and you know, it just you are right from the standpoint that at some point throughout every season you're going to be thin. You're going to be thin at certain positions, and starting pitching right now is relatively thin because I'm sure we'll get into it with Hunter Green's news on the back half. Infield defense, you have kind of a couple errors from Ellie. I'll be openly honest as well. I'm not arguing this tonight. I don't know how good Marte is defensively yet. I still need to see more. And I'm not saying there was anything tonight that made me like scratch my head and 100% think that, but there's just like I'll be interested to see what that looks like long term. Put it that way. And I'm not trying to be overly pessimistic. I'm not worried about Ellie. I don't give a damn he made 2 errors. I'm not trying to give him a pass all the time, Nick, but he's quite literally, if you lined up and we made a list of all the guys that I'm concerned about, he is dead last. And I don't care that he made 2 errors. I don't. Do you?
To be honest, I don't know why he was in the game. Like, why did we?
Well, I don't know. We had the infield in down 13-0, but we'll talk about that here in a minute.
I don't know. I mean, it feels like that would have been a good time to give Ellie a few innings off his feet, right? I mean,
right? Yeah, give him a half a day off or something.
Yeah, I would. When you got down, I don't know, 12-0, 10-0, probably a good time to say, yeah, let's give Ellie the rest of the day off. And
I agree. But what do? We move into the back half of the rundown. That's what we do. Right now, we're on pace for maybe the fastest show in Chatterbox Reds history. We'll see if we make it because there's a couple things on the back half of this rundown that I'm sure that who knows, it'll go off sideways at some point. Game time. If you're looking to go get tickets to concerts, if you're possibly thinking about going down to Paycor, you can download the Game Time app, and you can use the code Cincy, C-I-N-C-Y. You get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Not sure if you're going to need any of the Game Time apps for the Reds games, largely because they might be handing those out here soon to anybody that'll take them. But in case you want to go to the ball yard and they still are accepting tickets at the gate, you can download the Game Time app, see the tickets where they are directly in the app. both me and Nick both personally use the app, and you should too. So download the Game Time app, use the code Cincy, CINCY, get $20 off your first purchase. And 988, nothing more appropriate than a night for 988. Between 988 and Jesus, it's neck and neck race right now on what you might need more on a night like tonight. So as always, text, call 988 if you ever need it. And on top of that, go to mantherapy.org if you're looking for resources to help with a whole host of different things that men may go through. Candelario, I got nothing on him. He is. It's going to take so much for Candelario to get out of the doghouse for me that I don't even know if it's humanly possible. He's going to have to come up in some big spots, and quite honestly, I don't know how many more big spots this Reds team's even going to find themselves in, but I don't really care that he hits a home run when we're down 13-0. And I know I should, Nick, but I don't. I mean, that's all I got on Candelario.
He had 2 hits tonight. I mean, that was good to see. It's been a struggle for him. So,
All right.
I mean, you need him. The single was hit hard as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's a step in the right direction, but the Reds need him. Like you said, they need him to come through in some big spots for them. And hopefully there are some more big spots.
Yeah. Neil said something earlier in the show that I chuckled at, and I think that maybe others might find a bit funny too. Is like he said the dude should just jump in the car and head straight home. They don't even need to worry about the showers. No sweat involved. And I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, this game was. Is this the worst loss of the season or not? Gotta be close.
The biggest defeat.
Biggest defeat.
Right, I mean, the Reds haven't been blown out all that much. I think I saw someone put it out. The Reds are, I have it right here. The Reds are 22-12 coming into today, and blowout games, so 5 runs or more. So
yeah,
that's why the run differential is
right
where it's at. But they lost an 11-1 game to the Orioles. So I mean this is the worst.
Gotcha. All right. So the worst defeat of the season in regards to run differential. Maybe we'll get them tomorrow. And here's the thing, like, we all know where they're at. They're going to have to do something absurdly ridiculous in order to get back in this thing, and just couldn't keep positive momentum. Speaking of momentum, that took a little bit of a hit earlier today. Green announced that he's going to hit the IL, Nick. Now you got to find yourself in a position where Nick Krall said that he was going to miss 1 start was the plan. Elbow soreness is the result or the reasoning behind it. Hopefully that's all it is. And I'll say, I'll openly admit, Nick, I really hope this is just a way of them kind of saying, hey, this season's over. Let's be careful, because there's no real reason to take a guy that's been pitching unbelievably well and is going to be a huge part of what this team needs to be in the future. Let's not continue to run him out there start after start after start after start. You put him on the IL, you give yourself a chance to replace him and obviously add somebody to the bullpen and or the starting rotation. And I'm hopeful that's all this is.
Yeah, I'm hopeful as well. He was on the IL earlier this year, right? And it was only a short term. I was trying to pull it up here, but yeah, he was on the IL. Now I guess this is his first time on the IL officially this year. But yeah, I mean, you hope it's just a precautionary thing. But anytime that you hear the words MRI, it's going to make you a little nervous. It probably should make you a little nervous. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, my best guess would be Julian Aguilar probably gets called up. He last pitched on the 13th, so he would be able to start. They moved Lyon Richardson to the bullpen already. Now he's throwing like a multiple innings, but just given how many games the Reds have coming up, they don't have a lot of off days really until you get into like the second week of September. I would think they're probably going to want to bring up a traditional starter, and not like bring up Lyon and like try to do a Lyon Junis bullpen game every 5th day, especially with like Lodolo struggling right now, and I just in Abbott maybe, going to have some starts where he probably is not going to go very deep, just kind of given where he's at. My guess is they probably call up Aguiar, who's been solid this year. He's kind of a guy that kind of has been some smoke and mirrors a little bit if you look at some of his peripheral stats. So, but he throws strikes, and that's obviously something you want. And he's a guy that at some point needs to get a chance in the big leagues to see what he's got. So I don't think it's the perfect time to call him up, but I don't think it would be the worst time to call him up either.
Well, I mean, if there's never this is about as close to perfect of a time to call him up, in my opinion, as you can get if you want to see what a guy can do at the big league level and not have a whole lot of repercussions for it. And I'm not trying to be the guy that sit here and says that it's 100% dead, but let's look ourselves in the mirror here and be honest with ourselves of what we have in front of us. This team it just doesn't have enough good players, and it's as simple as that. We could, and I'm not going to apologize for getting excited when this team sweeps the Cardinals and they're looking at a series where if they win the series, they're back to 500 and they're within a handful of games of a wild card spot. We all knew in our heart of hearts that it was going to be a tall task, but it's also not surprising that we find ourselves here on a night like tonight at some point this season, and it's really just not a shock. This is not rocket science. We can all figure out why it is the Reds are in the spot they're in, and it doesn't take long to look at this lineup, in my opinion, and see why. All right, jumping into a couple more things that I thought were. I'll just say it like this. I don't know what the hell's going on. There's mixed messages that I'm receiving, and you know what? For somebody that sat here and said that I think David Bell's job is not, it's not as a hot topic as many make it out to be, in my opinion. Do I think the manager matters? Yes, I do. Do I think that there are times where David Bell probably does some things that makes me scratch my head? Yes, but I also think there are times where he gets things right and he doesn't get any credit. So you put all that into a recipe and you get out of it, in my opinion, something that I would just say is meh. Like I can't be super one way or the other over it. So I want to say that on the front end because I usually do not criticize David Bell and be like, fire David Bell, do this and there. And let me also say very clearly, last season they overachieved, and you have to give David Bell credit if you're going to also blame him for this season and them quote unquote underachieving. But we also have to at least admit that there are injuries, and I think that's probably a bigger reason as to why this team underachieved the way they did versus it just being David Bell doesn't know how to manage. But I, for the life of me, cannot figure out how the night before you decide that you're going to basically punt or you're going to just try to forego on an opportunity to a certain extent of not putting your best foot forward by letting Fernando Cruz try to go get 6 outs in a 3-1 baseball game, when 4, 5, and 6 coming up in the 9th with, again, a guy that's in the bullpen for the Royals who's not Mariano Rivera, okay? He's not the world's best closer. Couple that into the very next night, it's 13-0. It's 13-0. And you have the infield in? You have the audacity to bring the infield in when it's 13-0, when the night before you punted on a game when you were down by 2 runs. And then, if you want to convince me or tell me that you think for a single second you still have a chance when you're down 13-0, oh, by the way, it's 0.00% chance. And by 0.00, I mean 0.00. Maybe there's one at some decibel point. I don't know when it is. But then the very next half inning, you let Benson go lefty on lefty. And then Candelario hits a home run. Ty France gets a base hit. And then Jake Fraley goes lefty on lefty. And guess how many outs there are? You don't have to guess. There's 2 outs. Why? Because Will Benson had to face a left-handed pitcher and Jake Fraley had to face a left-handed pitcher. And save me all the oh, look how good of an at-bat both of them had. They were barely out at first base. It was a bang-bang play. They were out. It doesn't matter. So what in the hell are we doing? I don't understand it. How could you on one night just be like, probably not worth it. And the very next day, you're going to just bring the infield in, down 13-0. Do you know how stupid you are? I mean, honest to God, if I was playing a Little League game and I seen across the field, I looked across the field and I seen the other team was playing their infield in, down 13-0, I'd look over there and I'd be like, is there anybody over there managing this team, or is it a bunch of 10-year-olds trying to figure it out themselves? But no, it's the Cincinnati Reds. I can't do it. I don't know. I'm not saying he should be fired. I don't know what they need to do. But I can't figure out what the mixed messages are. It's tougher to figure out David Bell at times than it is a woman. And that's not disrespectful to women. That's just men being stupid, not being able to figure out women, to be clear. I don't want hate mail. Moving on. I digress.
All right.
Sorry.
You sure you got it all out, or any?
I mean, it is what it is. I just tell you what was in the press conference. I'm just gonna say tonight, we really hit a couple balls hard, and we'll get them tomorrow. I mean, Royals, they got a good team. I mean, they got Bobby Witt Jr. and Bobby Witt Jr. is a really good player. I mean, we got Ellie De La Cruz, but they got a lot of good players over there. We got a lot of good players too, but tonight, we just didn't go our way. Yeah, a little Southern twang in there too, but anyway, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Let's just kill two birds with one stone. I won't have to listen to Barry anymore in the booth. Let's send him down there, okay? So maybe we'll get a better broadcaster, possibly, in the booth, all right? And then maybe we'll get a better manager. Well, it'll work out for both. Seems like a good plan to me.
Get Nick Kirby finally being critical of a manager if you hire Barry Larkin.
You'd never know. He might change his ways.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you give me Barry and a computer, then yeah, I'll be okay with it. But
anyways, I don't know what else to say. I mean, we're yeah, we're dead.
Okay,
we're dead. Yeah, we're dead. But maybe we're not dead. I don't know. Maybe next Sunday we'll be talking about how it's a must-win series. But I know this. I'll tell you who is dead. It's the Chattanooga Lookouts. And I can't wait to hear about them on a night like tonight. Maybe they brought some sunshine into what is a very dreadful day in the Reds organization. Take it away, Nick.
all right. Reds MILB. We'll start off with AAA. Louisville, they won 6-5 over Omaha in 10 innings. The Bats snapped their 3-game losing streak. Blake Dunn on base twice. Reese Hines' struggles continue. He was 0 for 5. Didn't steal the bag, though. His 19th of the season. Davis Wenzel, good day for him. 3 for 5. Tucker Barnhart, 2 for 4. Joey Weimer, who's been struggling, he got the day off. And then Zach Maxwell gave up a run, but didn't walk anyone and struck out 2. Chattanooga is still in action. The Rob Manfred pace of play seems to work because the Reds played in a game that was 13-1 and still are not behind these minor league games that started like 20 minutes later. Chattanooga 6-6 in the top of the 11th. Tyler Callahan homered. Love to see that. Been a big fan of him. Tough one for Austin Hendrick. He's 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. That's tough. Dayton, they're also still in action. They are winning 8-7 over Fort Wayne. They're right in the middle of a pretty fun playoff chase. Jay Allen back in the lineup. He has 2 hits. Cam Collier just is a walk machine lately. He's got 3 walks. And there's a really cool story I honestly got to do a little bit more digging on. John Michael Fail. He is homered in 3 straight games. This was a guy that was drafted, not really thought much of, played in the ACL earlier this year, but he played like limited time, had great numbers. But, when you see a guy in the ACL that's not on the prospect list, you don't really put a whole lot of stock into their numbers because, when they're college guys, a lot of times they play well. Well, he has homered in 3 straight games for the Dragons, so that's pretty cool to see. We'll try to follow him a little bit closer. And then Low A Daytona, they beat up on St. Lucie 13-3. Great day from Sammy Stafora, 2 for 5, double and a walk. Ricardo Cabrera, he did walk twice, stole his 16th bag of the year. Eastman Pineda on base twice. Yerlin Confidant, 2 for 5. And then Otis Portes, okay outing for him. 2 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. 1 walk, did strike out 5. Portes was the return for Lucas Sims. And then the DSL Reds, they beat the DSL Orioles black. DSL Reds now 35-18. They only have 2 games left in the regular season. As mentioned, I have no idea if they're going to the playoffs or not. Try to find that out when I do. Adolfo Sanchez 0 for 3. Driven Moriallo 0 for 2 with a walk. And then Yekel Soriano 0 for 4. The DSL Rojas, they were off today. So that's your Reds in my LB.
It's a very good job, Nick. I mean, as always. Some of us owe an apology about re-signs, but maybe it's just that the batting eyes, the batter's eyes in the minors and the lights in the minor leagues, maybe those just aren't bright enough. You know, he needs them to be big league brightness in order for him to perform. It's not been all that great.
They killed his confidence. I mean,
yeah, exactly, Nick. Now you know. Now you're getting it.
10 for 59 since being optioned.
Yeah, they killed his confidence. And not only did they kill his confidence, but I don't think the batter's eyes and the lights aren't as bright out in the minor leagues, which is tough to hit baseballs if you're trying to hit in the dark, just so we all are aware. Who, what, when, where, and definitely, I mean, without question, why? That's the $1 million question that I know you can't answer, but take it away.
No, I
Nick.
didn't do it.
Well, I mean, what? Yeah, I mean, just let us know. Just give us.
I wrote all the notes. I wrote all the notes down. I just didn't put it in. It's Andrew Abbott, 8-8, 3.32 ERA against Brady Singer, also 8-8, 3.32 ERA. They have identical ERAs. That's wild. Abbott was really struggling coming into his last start, but was brilliant against the Cardinals. Allowed just 1 run in 6 2/3 innings. Abbott, of course, is tied with Austin Gomber of the Rockies for the most home runs allowed this season. However, Abbott actually has a better ERA at home, 3.34 ERA at home, 3.79 ERA on the road. Abbott actually has a higher home run rate on the road than at home. He's given up fewer home runs at Great American Ballpark, so try to figure that one out. Abbott's never faced the Royals. The only 2 batters that has faced him are DeYoung, who's 0 for 7, and Renfroe, who is 0 for 2. Reds will face right-handed pitcher Brady Singer, first-round pick in 2018. Made his MLB debut in 2020. He was okay his first 2 seasons. Was great in 2022, but then really bad 2023. 5.52 ERA in 29 starts last year, but this year he's bounced back. He's had a nice season. Last 2 starts he struggled, though. 8.44 ERA, 18 hits, and 10 2/3 innings. Singer relies mostly on 3 pitches, slider, sinker, and 4-seamer. Occasionally, he'll throw a changeup and sweeper. The fastball and sinker average 92 miles per hour. Singer's made 1 career start against the Reds. It was in Kansas City in 2021. Solid start from him. 6 innings, 1 run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Active Reds are 12 for 40. Jeimer Candelario is 7 for 19 with 3 extra base hits. Of course, Candelario was in the AL Central. Ty France, 3 for 14. Then India's 1 for 2. Stevenson 0 for 2, and Espinal is 1 for 3. That's a 1:40 start time. Chatterbox Reds at 9 p.m.
Sometimes in life you look for answers. Sometimes you realize those answers don't really exist. They don't lie within you. They don't lie around you. Maybe they lie beneath you and you can't see them, and maybe they lie so far up that you've never looked. I don't know where the hell this Reds franchise needs to look, all right? But they need to start looking in some different places, because we've done this whole go fish game for 28 years. And my hope is at some point here soon, we no longer have to do that. We said we're going to do all 162, and that's the only damn reason I'll be back tomorrow. I love you all. Go Reds.